Hi YouTube, it's Boston Girl 5560 and this is a 2-video day. Need to get them done while I have time. Anyways, this is on fertility clinics and what are my views about reproductive endocrinologists and how I felt about the whole fertility process. Well, I feel it's a money-making business. When I was in Georgia, there was definitely clinics fighting each other for business. They make quite a bit of money, a lot of profit off fertility. I mean, just think one round of IVF is 20 grand. I think of a good more than half of that goes straight to the clinic, but they also have a lot of high overhead depending on the property, the equipment, and such is a lot of high overhead. But the funny thing is, IVF is very cheap in other countries. So you tend to wonder why is it so cheap in, Israel, Europe, but it's cost an arm and a leg here. Baby eating. So also insurances, like your insurance might cover fertility. It depends on your state. Whether if it covers fertility and also the requirements. Like there's some states that if you're a single mother by choice, it only covers fertility if you're married. Most do not cover fertility. Like let's say your husband had a vasectomy. That's an elective thing, or you had your tubes tied. They're not covering it if you had those surgeries to prevent childbirth. But they initially, they all have their own requirements and what you need to do and for coverage and stuff like that. So I would definitely extensively look at what's covered. Fertility was not covered by my insurance, but the diagnosis of infertility was covered. So a lot of the tests and stuff hit my deductible and stuff, and some of it was covered. Any money covered, I appreciate it. So I went to a lot of seminars for reproductive endocrinologists, and I just felt like, I hate to say it, that they were like used car salesmen. Everybody's trying to give you the best deal. They give you this kind of scare tactic video. And this is just my opinion about fertility and this, that, and the other. And the thing I didn't like was sometimes they can't tell you why you're freaking infertile. And there's people who've definitely gotten pregnant with some of the issues they have. And not to say that they can't tell some things. Yeah, there's certain things they can tell, and I do believe it is a beginning of, if your tubes are blocked, if you have endometriosis, if you have POCS, if you have all these things that could hinder you from pregnancy. I do consider the test as a starting point. I do, but if I really took stock in all those tests, I wouldn't have my daughter because I was just convinced I could get pregnant. And there are people, I don't know if you have faith, but I had faith at the time that the doctors did not know everything and that I could get pregnant. Yes, I did have a plan to do IVF if that didn't work, but I did have faith. But I really felt like there's too much of it, like they had a circle of, the different kinds of infertility. And then, like, there was people who passed all the tests. Like, they passed them with flying colors and still couldn't get pregnant. And they call that unexplained infertility. And I was like, so basically, I pay you for all this, you still can't get me pregnant, and then there's a easy box to throw me in called unexplained infertility. I didn't like that. But, and then I asked, one of the doctors at one of the seminars, I said, well, what if I don't want to do all this and I just want you to throw some sperm up in me and I'll pay for that. Would you do it? He said, no. Because you know what? They don't make a whole lot of money just throwing sperm up in you. They make a lot of money on the tests and this, that, and the other. And I said, what if it's my money and I don't want you to do all that. I just want you to throw the sperm up there. And he was like, no. And I was a little put off because here's the thing. If I'm a single mother by choice, meaning I haven't spent 6 months to a year trying to get pregnant with a significant other. Granted, I did, kind of, but that's another story. But the point is, I don't know if I'm infertile. I don't have that diagnosis in my head. I haven't tried every month and been disappointed. So I was like, if I just want you to throw sperm up there, why can't you? neither here nor there. So the alternatives to reproductive endocrinologists, I do believe you should have the HSG test. And the reason being is because if your fallopian tubes are blocked, I mean, I heard there's a quick, not surgery, but when they go up there with like a laparoscopic something to clear it out or whatever. But if you don't want to start at that deficit that the egg isn't even getting to your uterus. Like, I would definitely look into that test. That was the best test I ever took out of all the tests I took, because that was the only one that came out positive, to be honest. All the rest of my tests came out negative. They were not good, and I'm still looking at my daughter, so hey, it happens. If you choose, like, let's say your insurance doesn't cover fertility or whatever, you can also, I would do a search in your area to find the cheapest way to do IUI, because you start off doing IUI anyway if you don't have extenuating circumstances. And like in Boston, there's definitely some clinics that'll do it for a couple $100. I heard of in California, there were midwives that would come to your house. My friend who was a nurse offered to do it for me. You can buy the kit to do inseminations offline. I think they're like $10 or $15 a piece. But I would not suggest doing an IUI on your own, which is intrauterus. I would say do a ICI, which is your cervix, intracervix. So you put the sperm next to your cervix. I would suggest that. Definitely figure out your ovulation and do it that way. I've seen people on YouTube who use the donor that gave them the sperm. There is the natural way having sex, or the donor gave them the sperm and they, did their insemination themselves, with the stuff you can order offline. Also, there are sperm banks that will send you sperm to your house. Some require doctor's notes and some don't. Also, look into your state law, because there are states which that's against the law. In Georgia, that was actually against the law. I wouldn't have known that other than the fact that my doctor told me that was against the law. And actually, Northwest Cryobank must have caught up to the law, because all of a sudden they weren't sending sperm to Georgia anymore. So let me see here. But I don't know if it would be hard to get a doctor's note. If you maybe, I don't know if you necessarily have to go through a reproductive endocrinologist, or you could just go through your gynecologist. All this requires research. I feel like you are your best advocate. Always do the research. Do not let the doctor totally take care of your care. I would also be informed on your end, because it helps you through the process and it helps you make decisions. Hold on a second. Somebody dropped your bottle. Anyways, I feel that you need to be informed about a lot of things. Things you can do to help the process, things that make it easier. Informed about the doctor's protocol, because I'll tell you this: every doctor has a different protocol, and every doctor has different success rates. There's some fertility clinic in Colorado that has a high success rate. I don't know why. I don't know what this doctor's protocol that makes their success rate so high. And also, you have to really look at your reproductive endocrinologist motives, because if you're like 44, 45, they have cutoffs that they will even try to get you pregnant. Like, if you're what they consider a hard case, they might not even try to get you pregnant, for the simple fact that it would lower their success rate if they're not successful. But you know what? There's situations when they're not successful with 20-year-olds, but they just want to play the odds. And then also, they've gotten on people about weight. I've seen people get pregnant naturally and we're like over 300 freaking pounds. My phone's going on. and were over 300 freaking pounds, and they got pregnant naturally, you know? So I would not, excuse my phone, I would not definitely use your weight as a deterrent. I know being overweight carries a lot of other issues, and you know, they claim fertility is one of them. And I understand that, and it's not good to be overweight. Hence, I'm trying to lose weight now, which sucks. But I don't feel it's necessarily a deterrent from fertility. And that's also another doctor's opinion. Like, one doctor might say, we don't deal with you if you're this way, and one doctor won't care. So it just all depends. And I say, be your best advocate. Be your advocate. Don't, you know, totally put it in the doctor's hands. You need to be totally educated. And that is my cue. I have to go. Bye, YouTube.